Hello everyone. This is Matt Pearce. We're back again. We've got Ken, our radio coordinator, and Dr. Chan is here again.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
恭喜發財.
And it's Year of the Ox, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah.
The year of the ox has already gone.
Right.
This is the year of the beer.
So we've got a few different issues to talk about in this program. We want to start by thanking the listeners. Actually, we've had some comments, and we want to encourage more comments and some feedback from listeners on the myradio forum or thread.
Hong Kong Reporters
Forum, is it?
Yeah, forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think sometimes internet geeks, they call it a thread or something in English.
Thread, yeah.
Do they do that? Is it?
I think in Hong Kong generally we call them forum.
Forum, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we encourage some more comments. We've had some different kind of comments. Any suggestions about topics or reaction to some of the topics we want to talk about, we welcome that. Also, there's been a couple of comments about the English, the fact we're talking in English, and we've taken on board that. We've adjusted the microphone slightly so that Dr. Chan and Ken's microphones, I've asked them to get a bit closer, so they should be a bit clearer. And also, I've asked them both to talk a bit more slowly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
we will.
You will, okay. Because I always say, I'm an English teacher in Hong Kong, and I always say to my students, just with English, you just need to talk a bit more slowly in terms of the way the language is done. It's best just to talk a bit more slowly and just try and clearly pronounce the words, and then we'll be okay. Yeah. So that's that. So we want to talk a bit about this case to do with the drink drive crash, I think. We want to start off talking about that. In the second half, we want to talk about Obama and Hong Kongers' views about that whole situation, and whether that would be possible in China and in Hong Kong, whether a non-Chinese person could become president, and talking about the differences and so on. But we want to start to talk about this case about the drink drive crash and about whether there needs to be a change of the law. I think all of us, obviously there's a problem, but we might have some differences in opinion about that. What's your view on that, Dr. Chan?
Well, I think the basic problem now is actually the sentencing rather than the law part, because the legal part, if you compare with the West, we are not particularly lenient. But I don't know why when it comes out, the sentencing itself is so lenient that it obviously cannot do justice to some very, very blatantly tragic case, so that the victim's family felt that justice was not done. So they demand justice, a kind of a very, very natural justice. That means if you kill my son or daughter in such kind of drink driving, you should got a severe sentencing, right? Yeah. So for myself, I say it's perfectly okay that we try to review again the legislation, or at least introduce some sentencing so-called guidance in order to guide the judges in Hong Kong. Because sometimes, actually all over the world, the judiciary, sometimes the judges themselves are sometimes so out of touch with the reality.
They're living in a different world, some of these judges, aren't they?
So sometimes they give very, very lenient judgment, sentencing to those criminals.
We better explain for overseas listeners that there was a very nasty crash, basically, and 5 men in a taxi collided with a lorry, and the driver of the lorry was a drink driver, and it's been quite a big local story over the past week, and there's been a lot of discussion about whether there needs to be a harsher crackdown on people who drink drive. But as regards the law as it stands, I've written down actually exactly what the law says at the moment, because it actually, by coincidence, is actually already in the process of becoming a bit more strict, I think. I've read in the newspaper that on February the 9th, they are actually introducing random testing, the police, so they can actually stop anyone and test them whether they are have been drinking alcohol. And if they're caught, it'll be a 3 months automatic disqualification. So that's coming in, but obviously at the moment there's been some discussion about the law is not strict enough at the moment. The penalty for drink driving causing a crash is 3 years in prison and a 25,000 Hong Kong dollar fine. And I mean that seems.
That still seem too lenient for many victims' family.
Yeah, I mean, would you be able to put a figure on that? Do you think it should be doubled? Or?
I think any amount that's less than $100,000 would be too little for the victims' families' feeling. Okay, and also anything less than 5 years imprisonment. I should say, right? 3 years imprisonment, because I remember another case, the drink driver, after killing a certain victim, got only 1 year. 1 year imprisonment. So this is not the only time that the victim's family has asked for a more stringent sentencing.
Because obviously there is a distinction between drink driving and reckless driving. Because obviously some people they get prosecuted for both. In terms of the way the law, because the law is at the moment says that if it's reckless driving, the law since last year, since July the 4th last year, was actually increased to 10 years in prison if it is reckless driving. So obviously, I mean, that law has. 10 years is quite a long sentence, actually. Because if you kill someone, I mean, manslaughter is about 10 years as well, isn't it? But obviously, in terms of the actual drink driving, it seems quite low, I think. In particular, my view on it, there needs to be a longer disqualification period.
Yes, that's true.
Because at the moment, if you're caught drink driving, only 3 months. Even if you haven't crashed or haven't killed anyone, 3 months, it doesn't seem very long, does it? And I know there has been some discussion about that, and the Hong Kong Automobile Association chairman Wesley Wan said that if someone's convicted of drink driving causing death, that they should get an automatic disqualification from driving for life. But would you?
That is still reasonable in a sense. But certainly I would comment that maybe about the compulsory testing. This particular instance, this one just before the Lunar New Year, is particularly tragic because it kills 5 working men, and then the bartenders, and then killing them just before the New Year is particularly tragic for the whole family. And then the killer, that means the drink driver himself, is a professional driver coming back from mainland. So actually, if we want to introduce this kind of testing, this should not be random testing for ordinary driver. This should be, for example, compulsory testing but now it will cause traffic jam. But this may be important, or increase the frequency of random testing for professional driver, especially driving heavy trucks.
I remember there's new technology that in one country, I forgot the name of the country, that the car cannot be started if they have they test this alcohol.
I heard about something.
Something about that. Maybe the technology can help us in the future.
That's true. And you were to tell me earlier about something about Japan. What their rules were to do with drink driving.
Yes, I just heard from a friend. I don't know is absolutely correct or not. But they say that in Japan, if you are the passenger of in the car, which the driver has already drunk, or he has been drunk beforehand, then the passenger will also be prosecuted because the driver is drunk, then the passenger will also have the responsibility to disallow the driver to drive. And I know that they have very